There's a unique pain that comes from feeling ignored by your own children. It's a kind of quiet hurt that lingers, leaving you wondering where things went wrong or how you might bridge the distance. For many parents, especially as they grow older, the relationship with their children can change in ways they never anticipated. What was once constant communication and shared moments can evolve into sporadic phone calls or long stretches of silence. If you felt this way, you're not alone. It's a difficult reality for many, but it's also a situation that doesn't have to remain permanent. Staying calm and approaching the situation with clarity and understanding is the first step toward healing. As parents, it's natural to pour so much of yourself into your children. From their earliest days, you've nurtured them, celebrated their victories, and supported them through their struggles. Your love for them doesn't diminish as they grow older, even when their own lives become busier or more complex. That's what makes feeling ignored so difficult. It challenges the deep bond you've always held dear. But it's important to remember that the way your children behave isn't always a reflection of their feelings for you. Life has a way of pulling people in different directions, and sometimes, what seems like indifference is simply the result of overwhelming schedules or their own personal challenges. When faced with this kind of emotional distance, the first and most crucial thing to do is remain calm. It's easy to let feelings of frustration, sadness, or even anger take over, but reacting impulsively can often make the situation worse. Instead, give yourself the time and space to process your emotions. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel hurt, your feelings are valid, but remind yourself that staying calm allows you to approach the issue constructively. When you respond with patience and understanding, you create an environment where healing and connection are possible. One way to regain your sense of calm is to focus on self-reflection. Ask yourself whether there might be underlying reasons for the current distance. Have there been misunderstandings, disagreements, or unmet expectations that could be influencing your relationship? Sometimes, even well-intentioned actions can be misinterpreted, and taking a step back to consider the dynamics at play can offer valuable insight. Reflecting on the situation doesn't mean blaming yourself, but rather seeking clarity so you can approach your children with an open mind. Communication is another powerful tool in addressing feelings of being ignored. Instead of assuming the worst or letting resentment build, try reaching out to your children in a gentle and non-confrontational way. A simple message or phone call expressing that you miss them and value your connection can go a long way. The key is to communicate without placing blame or guilt, as this can push them further away. Focus on sharing your feelings honestly while emphasizing your desire to strengthen the relationship. For example, you might say, "I've been thinking about you and miss hearing your voice. Is there a good time for us to catch up?" This approach invites connection without creating pressure. While you wait for their response, it's essential to avoid spiraling into negative assumptions. It's easy to interpret silence as rejection, but often, it's not personal. Your children might be juggling demanding careers, raising families, or navigating their own challenges. By giving them the benefit of the doubt, you allow space for them to re-engage without feeling judged or criticized. Patience can be difficult in moments like these, but it's a gift you can give to both yourself and your relationship with your children. Another way to manage the emotional strain of feeling ignored is to focus on nurturing your own life. It's natural to want to pour energy into repairing the relationship, but it's equally important to invest in your own happiness and well-being. Engaging in hobbies, joining social groups, or volunteering in your community can provide a sense of purpose and connection that doesn't rely solely on your children's attention. When you prioritize your own fulfillment, you not only enrich your life but also model resilience and independence for your children. At the same time, it's important to recognize and celebrate the relationships you do have. Whether it's a partner, friends, or other family members, these connections can provide support and joy during challenging times. Leaning on these relationships reminds you that you are valued and loved, even when one relationship feels strained. Sharing your feelings with trusted confidants can also help alleviate the emotional burden and provide fresh perspectives on how to approach your children. In some cases, professional guidance can be a valuable resource. Family therapists or counselors specialize in helping families navigate complex dynamics and rebuild connections. If you feel stuck or unsure of how to move forward, seeking the help of a neutral third party can offer clarity and tools for improving communication. Therapy isn't a sign of failure, it's a proactive step toward understanding and healing. It's also worth considering the role of forgiveness in moving forward. Holding on to resentment or anger can weigh heavily on your heart, making it harder to approach your children with compassion. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing hurtful behavior, but rather freeing yourself from the burden of negative emotions. It allows you to focus on the present and the steps you can take to strengthen the relationship, rather than dwelling on past grievances. Feeling ignored by your children is undoubtedly painful, but it doesn't have to define your relationship. By staying calm, reflecting on the situation, and approaching your children with patience and understanding, you create the possibility for reconnection. Relationships, like all meaningful things in life, require effort and care to flourish. While the journey may not be easy, it is one worth taking, and the rewards of rebuilding that bond can bring immeasurable joy and fulfillment. Staying calm when you feel ignored by your children is one of the hardest yet most important steps you can take. It's natural to want to react, whether out of hurt, anger, or frustration, but a calmer approach allows you to navigate the situation with clarity and purpose. Once you've had a moment to process your emotions, you can begin taking proactive steps to rebuild your relationship. It's a gradual process that requires patience, effort, and an open heart, but the potential for renewed connection is always there. Understanding the reasons behind the distance is an essential part of this journey. Sometimes, your children may be dealing with struggles of their own, stressful jobs, financial pressures, or family challenges that consume their attention. Other times, the dynamic may have shifted due to unspoken tensions or misunderstandings that neither of you has addressed. As parents, it's easy to view the silence as intentional or personal, but often, it has less to do with you and more to do with the circumstances of their lives. Keeping this perspective in mind can help you approach the situation with empathy rather than defensiveness. Once you've reflected on the possible causes of the distance, consider reaching out in a way that feels meaningful yet non-intrusive. Communication is a delicate balance, especially when emotions are involved. Sending a heartfelt letter, making a gentle phone call, or even leaving a short voicemail can open the door to dialogue. It's important to express how you feel without assigning blame or making accusations. Instead of saying, "You never call me," try something like, "I've been missing you and would love to catch up whenever you have time." This shifts the tone from one of confrontation to one of connection, making it easier for your child to respond positively. However, communication isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you listen. If your children do open up, take the time to hear them out fully, even if what they share is difficult to process. They may express feelings or perspectives you weren't aware of, and listening without judgment can create a safe space for honest conversation. Responding with empathy, even if you don't agree, shows that you value their thoughts and feelings, which can help rebuild trust and closeness. While you work on fostering connection, it's equally important to protect your own emotional well-being. Feeling ignored can leave you vulnerable to self-doubt or sadness, so finding ways to nurture yourself is crucial. Engaging in activities that bring you joy or fulfillment can remind you of your own strength and worth. Whether it's gardening, painting, joining a book club, or volunteering, these pursuits not only enrich your life but also provide a healthy distraction from focusing solely on the relationship with your children. One of the benefits of pursuing your own interests is that it demonstrates your resilience to your children. While they may not notice immediately, seeing you live a fulfilling and engaged life can inspire them to reconnect. Relationships are often strengthened when each person feels like they're contributing from a place of balance rather than relying on the other for validation or happiness. When your children see that you are thriving, they may feel drawn to reconnect on healthier, more equal terms. It's also essential to consider the broader dynamics at play in your relationship. Over the years, patterns of interaction may have developed that now influence how you communicate. Perhaps there were moments of disagreement or hurt that were never fully resolved, or maybe your children felt pressures or expectations that strained the relationship. Examining these dynamics without blame can provide clarity and offer opportunities for change. If appropriate, acknowledging your own role in past conflicts and expressing a desire to move forward can go a long way in rebuilding trust. Forgiveness plays a central role in letting go of past grievances and creating space for reconnection. If your children have hurt you by ignoring you or being dismissive, it's natural to feel anger or resentment. However, holding on to these emotions can create barriers that make healing difficult. Forgiving them doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but rather choosing to release the negative emotions that weigh you down. Forgiveness is as much a gift to yourself as it is to them, allowing you to focus on the possibilities of the present rather than the pain of the past. At times, despite your best efforts, the response from your children may remain lukewarm or distant. While this can be disheartening, it's important to remember that relationships take time and patience. Sometimes, the seeds you plant today may take weeks, months, or even years to grow. Staying consistent in your efforts while respecting their boundaries shows them that your love is steady and enduring. It may not yield immediate results, but it keeps the door open for future connection. In the meantime, consider expanding your social circle and fostering relationships outside of your immediate family. Friendships, community groups, and faith-based organizations can all provide meaningful connections that bring joy and companionship into your life. These relationships don't replace the bond you have with your children, but they offer a valuable support system and remind you that love and connection can come from many sources. As you navigate these challenges, it's important to celebrate the progress you make, no matter how small. Perhaps your child responds to a message, or you share a brief but pleasant conversation. These moments, however fleeting, are steps toward rebuilding your relationship. Acknowledging and appreciating them reinforces the idea that positive change is possible and keeps you motivated to continue your efforts. Ultimately, the journey to reconnect with your children is one of patience, understanding, and resilience. By staying calm, nurturing your own well-being, and approaching the relationship with an open heart, you create the possibility for healing and growth. While the outcome may not always be exactly as you hope, the effort you invest in love and connection is never wasted. Each step you take strengthens the foundation for future closeness, reminding both you and your children that the bond you share is worth cherishing. As you continue this journey, it's important to remind yourself that love is not always a straightforward path. Relationships, especially those with your children, evolve over time. Sometimes they flourish and sometimes they falter, but the bond you share is deeply rooted and enduring. Feeling ignored by your children can be one of life's more painful experiences, but it does not have to define your relationship or your sense of self. With patience, perspective, and a calm approach, you can create new opportunities to rebuild that connection. One of the most powerful ways to move forward is to practice acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up on the relationship or resigning yourself to being ignored. Rather, it's about letting go of the need for immediate outcomes and finding peace in the present moment. By accepting your children as they are, flaws, challenges, and all, you create space for a more authentic connection. Sometimes, when we release the pressure of expectations, relationships have room to grow naturally. While waiting for those deeper moments of connection, remember to keep nurturing yourself. Your worth is not determined by the attention or validation of others, even those you love most. By focusing on your own happiness and fulfillment, you become a source of light, not just for yourself, but for those around you. When your children see you engaged in life, embracing your passions and thriving, it may serve as a gentle reminder of the strength and resilience they admire in you. It's also important to acknowledge that sometimes, reconciliation might require professional support. Family relationships can carry years of unspoken tensions, misunderstandings, or unresolved emotions. A family therapist or counselor can offer valuable tools to address these challenges and create a path forward. Reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a testament to your commitment to healing and strengthening the bond with your children. If your children remain distant despite your efforts, it's natural to feel a sense of loss. Grieving the relationship as it once was is a necessary part of healing, but it's equally important to remain open to the possibilities of the future. Relationships can shift over time, and what feels strained today may soften with patience and consistent love. Even small gestures, an occasional message, a thoughtful card, or a memory shared, can act as quiet bridges, keeping the connection alive. As you navigate these moments, lean on the relationships and communities that do bring you joy and connection. Friends, neighbors, and extended family members often play a significant role in enriching our lives. These connections remind you that love and belonging exist in many forms and that your life can be filled with warmth and companionship, even when certain bonds feel strained. Above all, be kind to yourself. It's easy to dwell on what you could have done differently or to blame yourself for the distance with your children. But relationships are complex, and they involve more than one person's actions or choices. Allow yourself grace and remember that the love you've given to your children over the years has shaped them in ways that may not always be visible. Even when they are distant, the foundation you've built remains a part of them. As you reflect on the situation, try to find moments of gratitude. Perhaps it's the memories of laughter and connection you've shared with your children in the past or the opportunities you've had to guide and support them. Gratitude doesn't erase the pain of feeling ignored, but it shifts the focus toward the positive aspects of your life and helps you approach the relationship with a more open heart. No matter how distant things may feel, the bond between parent and child is a resilient one. It can bend and stretch, but it rarely breaks entirely. The love you hold for your children is a powerful force, and even when it isn't immediately returned, it still matters. By staying calm, maintaining hope, and focusing on the efforts you can control, you create a foundation for healing and renewal. Every step you take toward connection, no matter how small, is an act of love. Whether it's reaching out with a kind word, finding peace within yourself, or fostering relationships with others, these actions build a life filled with meaning and joy. While the outcome with your children may remain uncertain, the effort you make is a reflection of your strength and the depth of your heart. Life is too precious to let strained relationships overshadow the beauty and possibility that exist all around you.